All right, everyone. Welcome back to Detroit Sports Flow here with BK.
And Speaks.
This week we will be diving into the Detroit Lions 2025-2026 schedule, taking a look at it, giving our predictions for the games. And then on top of that, we're also going to give you an idea of who we think is going to be the offensive player of the year and the defensive player of the year, and which guys that we feel like are going to take a step forward this season. But let's dive into the schedule right out of the gates here, Speaks. Week 1, no joke of a matchup. We got a game in Lambeau Field right to start the season, going on the road to play the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers are going to come in motivated. Detroit is the defending NFC North champs.
You're damn right.
I see Green Bay coming out. The crowd's going to be ready to go. Their team's going to be ready to go. But with that, I think Detroit is going to go in there focused, ready to make a statement right when the season starts here. I got us winning late here, Speaks, on the last minute field goal, 31-28 Lions.
I like it. I like the prediction, BK. This is a September 7th kickoff, 4:25 p.m. kickoff, CBS. Since becoming the head coach in 2021, Dan Campbell has a 6-2 record versus the Green Bay Packers with the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions have also been undefeated at Lambeau under his leadership. So with that being said, I think we get another W here, and MCDC goes undefeated yet again in Lambeau. I'm actually going to this game. I'll be going with a friend and his wife and another friend. I think we come out on top 35-28 and a last minute touchdown, BK.
Love it. Next week, the Week 2 matchup. We have our home opener here versus the Chicago Bears. Like Speaka, I will be at this game.
That's right,
really
baby.
Fired up for it. I think we're going to come out here. Ben Johnson returning back to Detroit. The Lions are going to come in motivated, trying to make a statement saying, hey, you shouldn't have left us for a division rival. I think Detroit comes out. I think the defense is urged to play very well with the crowd being behind them. I got us winning this one pretty handily, 34-21, Speaks.
All right. I like it, BK. This is September 14th, 1 p.m. Fox game. This will be the Lions home opener versus Ben Johnson, our old offensive coordinator. So you know the crowd will be next level loud with this game. Hearing a lot of boos from Ben Johnson considering he left us for a division rival. So since becoming the head coach in 2021, MCDC has a 2-3 record against the Chicago Bears, but I think MCDC gets his next big win, and us as a team against his prodigy and Ben Johnson. I think we get this one 35-24, and we go 2-0, BK.
I love it. Good start to the season right there, but this is where things start to get tricky.
Yes, this is a tough schedule, a gauntlet.
This schedule is a gauntlet. Fortunately for us, every other team in the NFC North will have to play the entire AFC North. The AFC North is no joke of a division with Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore. And then you got Cleveland in there. But those three are big, heavy hitters. We start our season off against the AFC North versus the Baltimore Ravens.
Monday night
football, prime time. We're going to see a lot of those games this year because the Lions are playing a gauntlet of the schedule like we were mentioning. This is where I see the Lions slipping up to start. I got the Ravens 31-27. I just think we can't handle the mobile quarterback quite yet. Lamar Jackson's the best in the business when we're talking about
yes,
that.
Yes, he is.
Should have been the MVP last year, but it is what it is. But they're going to be ready to go. Baltimore knows that the Lions are a huge contender here in the NFC, and I think they're going to come out guns a-blazing, and they end up squeaking out the victory here.
I like it, BK. Actually, I don't like it because you have the Lions losing. So we'll see what happens. I got it going the other way, but before we get into that, since becoming the head coach, MCDC and the Detroit Lions have faced the Baltimore Ravens twice, losing both of those games. The first loss was a close last-second defeat in 2021 when the massage therapist guy himself, Justin Tucker, with the last-second field goal. And then the lopsided loss in 2023 on the road that really got us, are we good, are we not good? That was a not a good loss for us, BK. But the Lions have notoriously struggled with that running QB, but that was with Aaron Glenn running the show on defense. We now have the new DC and Kelvin Shepard, and I think this is going to make us not struggle with running QBs anymore. I think we come out on top 38-24, and we win this one on Monday night, and we show everyone we can compete with those running QBs now.
Ooh, by 14?
Yes,
Man,
sir.
Speaks. I don't know about that one, but I love your optimism. So next week, we're diving into week 4 here. Detroit Lions are hosting the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns are obviously the weakest team there in the AFC North, and they're kind of in a rebuilding phase. We got Joe Flacco running the show over there for them. But I think Detroit comes out. They handle business here. Cleveland's defense kind of keeps them alive. But I got the Lions winning here 27-13.
I like it. All right. MCDC has only played the Browns once in a regular season game since 2021 when he came in the helm for the Detroit Lions head coaching job. The Browns, we beat the Browns 13-10. I think the Lions do better in this, be a bit more polished in this one, and give them a nice beat down. I think we win this one 28-17. I got us at 4-0 now, BK.
Woo! I got us at 3-1, but still a good start either way we're looking at it. Detroit Lions next week at the week 5 mark are playing the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow and company, that offense is high flying, Speaks. They can score with anyone. Their defense, however, is not very good.
No.
I think we get into a shootout here. 38-35, I got the Lions winning. I think they do just enough offensively to get it done. That puts me at 4-1 to start the season here.
All right. Playing Joe Cool. That's a tough matchup, especially with his weapons on the outside. You got T. Higgins. You got Jamar Chase. This is going to be a fun one.
In
Cincy. October 5th, 4:25 p.m. kickoff. Hopefully Brady's covering this one, the golden boy himself. But to no avail, MCDC has a 1-1 record versus the Bengals since he started in 2021. I think the Lions have a high-powered offense. I think the Bengals have an high-powered offense, but I think what makes the difference is the Detroit Lions defense. I don't think the Cincinnati Bengals have what it takes to keep up with the Detroit Lions on both sides of the ball, and that will be the difference. Is we're going to force more turnovers, and I believe the Lions come up on top 42-38, 5-0 Lions.
Ooh, shootout too, though.
A shootout.
It's going to be a fun one to watch.
It's going to be a fun one to watch.
Next one here is we are at the Kansas City Chiefs in Week 6. No joke of a matchup ever, Speaks. The Kansas City Chiefs have been a staple in the AFC, going to Super Bowl after Super Bowl. But I don't think they are the same team that they used to be.
They're not. They once were.
I don't think their offense is as good as it used to be. I think their defense is still there, but I think the Lions have the better offense, and this thing goes back and forth as well. But I'm going to say that the Lions take care of business here, 27-24, putting them at 5-1 here.
5-1. All right. Since MCDC took over in 2021, his record against the Kansas City Chiefs is 1-0, winning the opener back in 2023 in the primetime game to start the season versus the defending Super Bowl champs. And they would go on to win the Super Bowl that year as well for back-to-back. This is going to be a tight contest and could go either way, especially with most of the calls always going Mahomes' way and KC's way with the majority of the time. But I think we coming out on top with a small margin of victory here. I think it's going to be 23-20, and we go 6-0.
Whew. Love your optimism here, Speaks, but we were rolling last year.
We were rolling last year, and I got our record right.
Yeah.
Everyone said I was a little crazy.
Everybody was saying that last year.
We're a damn good football team.
Yeah, they showed up. I know the schedule's a gauntlet, but the other side of that, too, is the Lions are a very good football team.
That's right.
All right, Speaks, and diving into Week 7 here. After an emotional win versus the Kansas City Chiefs, We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming to Detroit. This is going to be no joke of a matchup right before the bye week here. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers always give us problems. Baker Mayfield has been clicking on all cylinders since getting into that system. Their defense is always good. This thing's going to be back and forth to the finish. I got the Lions scoring late to get a win here, 31-27.
I like it, BK. Since MCDC has been at the helm for the Detroit Lions in 2021, we are 2-1 against the Bucs. And we lost our last game to the Bucs 20-16. I think that trend continues, unfortunately. The Bucs always play us hard. Godwin's back. Evans is a stud. Like you said, Baker Mayfield's really come into his own there in Tampa Bay. And then Todd Bowles is one hell of a coach. I think we end up losing this, looking ahead to our bye week, 27-24, and that's going to be our first loss at 6-1, BK.
It doesn't surprise me though. Tampa always
has our number, man.
They have had it for a couple of years now. Hopefully we can get over that.
They got a good squad, good coach, and then that leads us into the bye week,
which is the nice part of the schedule here.
Because we didn't have this last year.
We didn't have this last year. We had the early bye last year, and then on top of that too, we get the bye right before we have Minnesota coming to town. I believe at this point of the season, Minnesota will be the team that we are competing against in order to win the division. This thing's going to go back and forth, Speaks. I think Minnesota is everything that we can handle. I think we end up squeaking this one out on a last-second field goal, 30-27, and that puts me right now at 7-1.
I like it, BK. Since becoming the head coach in 2021, MCDC has a 6-2 regular season record versus the Purple People Eaters. And after the bye week and after my predicted loss before the bye week, I think we hold this rookie QB and stud QB at JJ McCarthy. Shout out, love you, JJ. In check just enough to get the W, 35-24. We go 7-1 record, baby.
Woo, I love it. And that's going to be a big, big game. So hopefully we are able to pull off the victory there. Next week, we get week 10 here, Speaks. A little bit of redemption on the line. We are up against the Washington Commanders. Obviously, they handed us the loss in the playoffs last year when we were very, very short on players with all the injuries. I think this is a redemption game for the Detroit Lions. I think we end up going into Washington, end up getting the win here 28-24, putting me at 8-1.
I like it, BK. I like it a lot. I want revenge on this game. MCDC is 1-1 versus the Commanders since taking over for the Detroit Lions with a win in 2022 at home, and then the dreadful loss in the divisional round, also at home in the playoffs. So I think this is a huge revenge game for us with all our players, coaches who are still around, circled this one on their calendar. We come out on top and give Daniels a little taste of his own medicine, and I think we win this one 42-38 in a high-scoring affair.
I could see that. I mean, we can't stop mobile quarterbacks, and Jaden Daniels is one of the best.
He moves the ball at us. Jaden Daniels is an absolute stud. I think he's only going to get better, but I think we are only going to get better with who we have in place, and I think we're going to be extremely tough in this game, and we want this one.
Yeah, I would agree. I think this one is circled, but heading into another circled game here, Speaks. We are taking on the defending champs here, the Philadelphia Eagles, in Week 11. A big, big game here. It looks like it's Sunday Night Football. This was the matchup that everybody wanted to see last year.
Yeah.
These were the two powerhouse teams in the NFC. Detroit has to go into Philly for this matchup. This thing's going to be back and forth, too. It's going to be a real slugfest with the way both these teams like to play. But Philly, man, they are so tough at home. That turf, they're going to have everything clicking. I think they're going to squeak this one out 31-27 Eagles, putting us right now at 8-2.
By turf, did you mean their Grass field.
Yeah, they're grass field, but they got that home turf, and like their field has always been notoriously
Slippery.
very tough on the competition.
That's very true. That's very true, BK. MCDC is 0-2 versus the Birds since his tenure at head coach with the Detroit Lions. Both losses coming at home back in 2021 and a blowout loss, and then in 2022 by a narrow 38-35 loss. I think the Eagles get us again here, and we lose another close one, 24-23. I got us at 8-2 now, BK.
Woo, love it. Love it.
You don't love the loss, but you like the record, I guess.
Love the record. I mean, I think that's a good start to the season, especially with what we had to face there through the first 11 weeks. Then we go into week 12 here. Detroit Lions are hosting the New York Giants. New York Giants coming to town, obviously. They're a little bit suspect on where they are. They don't know who their starting quarterback is. I expect it will probably be Jackson Dart over there.
You think they announced today that Russell Wilson is the guy. You think Dart's going to be the guy in the November 23rd game?
Come week 12.
Okay.
Yep. He will be the guy. I think they're just kind of easing him in. But with that being said, Detroit has too much firepower for the Giants to deal with. 34-24 Detroit.
I like it, BK. I like it a lot. MCDC has only played the G-Men one time with his tenure with the Lions, resulting in a win in 2022, which was a road game. This was the Kenny Galladay coming out party, if you guys remember. The long pass, the long extended catch. I remember it it was yesterday. I think the Lions get another W this year in a large margin, 38-10. That puts us at 8-2.
Woo. Love it, Speaks. So actually, that would be 9-2 at that point, wouldn't it? Yeah, it'd be 9-2.
I'm sorry.
It'd be
9-2. I've never been the best with math.
So many wins stacking up, you couldn't count it. I got it. And then we get into week 13, the big Thanksgiving Day game. Everybody knows the Lions historically have struggled on Thanksgiving. We got the Green Bay Packers coming to town. I think they're going to be extremely motivated because we're going to get that week 1 win in Lambeau. I think they're going to come out guns a-blazing like they always do. Green Bay is going to give us a lot of problems here, but I think in a shootout, we end up winning here 38-34, Speaks.
38-34. All right, BK. Detroit will be looking to get some revenge on their loss 2 years ago on Thanksgiving. I was at this game with my dad. MCDC is 6-2 against the Packers since he started, but if both of my predictions are right, we will see. I think MCDC will be 8-2 versus the Packers and sweep them for 2 seasons in a row. I think we win this in a close second cherry on top field goal, 27-24.
Woo. Close one.
Yes, sir.
Next one, we got Dallas Cowboys on the schedule here. We have Dallas coming to town, which will be nice because Jerry's World is always very tricky on us with the calls that we receive. Dallas at this point in the season, Speaks, I think they're going to have a little bit of locker room problems. I don't think they're going to be getting the results that they're quite looking for over there. Detroit has too much talent on the offensive side of the ball. I think we end up pulling this one out 38-27.
I like it, BK. MCDC is 1-3 versus the Cowboys. I wonder why. I don't think it has anything to do with talent, but the refs and being in Jerry World. That has a big thing to do with it. With all the games on the road, that has a lot to do with it. 2022, we lost on the road. Lions lost in 2024 and 2023. The close game in 2023, 2019, and then finally we get our win last year in a blowout, 47-9. So I think we blow them out this year, and it's going to be, I don't know, let's say 33-18, and that puts us at 11-2, BK.
We both got it at 11-2 at this point.
I got the math right that time.
I love it. I love it. On to week 15 here. This is a tough matchup, Speaks. This one always stands out to me because the LA Rams always seem to have our number. We're going into LA. I think they've been downplaying this, or they've been overplaying the Matthew Stafford injury. I think he's hurt, but I think he is being rested until they
It was
get into the
strategic.
season. I think it is strategic for what they're doing. They don't want people to think that he's ready to go. I think he's ready to go.
I think he's ready.
Rams in Sean McVay's offense always gives us issue. Their coach over there is absolutely phenomenal. I think they're going to end up pulling this one out, giving us a loss here, 30-27.
BK, I hate to say you're right, but I think you're right here. But before I get into that, MCDC and Jared Goff are both 1-1 versus the Rams since the inception of the new regime and the new era when they both started together, with one loss coming in 2021, 28-19 on the road. Then we beat them at the loudest game ever played in the divisional playoff game at home, 24-23. With that being said, I think what you said is very correct. I think McVay and Stafford want everyone to think that he is hurt going into the season. He's going to come in, guns a-blazing. Stafford's one of the toughest SOBs there is ever to play the quarterback position. Plays with multiple injuries. Everyone's worried about the back injury. If anyone knows back injuries, I know back injuries. They're nothing to mess around with. But Stafford's an Iron Man. I think they get us on this one, unfortunately. 24-17. My record at 11-3 also, with us coming out losing to the LA Rams there, unfortunately.
It's going to be a tough one, man.
It is.
Stafford's an Iron Man.
He's an Iron Man, and McVay's a genius.
Yep, that's going to be problematic for us. It's going to be a close one, but I just don't see us pulling that one out.
No.
But then we got no joke of a test here on Week 16 either, Speaks. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers coming to town. You know this is going to be a physical matchup. Pittsburgh loves to play that physical style. They love running the football, playing hard-nosed defense. They're going to come in here. They're going to need a win, too, because I think they're going to be right on the cusp of the playoffs there. Pittsburgh's going to come in motivated, but Detroit is going to come in motivated, too, because we're going to be neck and neck with Minnesota at this point of the season. I think the Lions squeak this one out, Speaks. I got us winning here 24-21, putting us at 12-3.
I like it, BK. MCDC only has one game versus the Steelers, and it ended in a tie back in 2021 with a 16-16 tie, if anyone remembers yet. This year, I think we will be in another close game, but I think we bounce back after losing to the Rams and get a win. Mike Tomlin's a heck of a coach. They got a lot of new weapons on defense. They got some new weapons on offense. They got Aaron Rodgers, who's been a lion killer in years past. But that's when he was with the Green Bay Packers, not the Pittsburgh Steelers. If he even makes it this long this season, I got us winning this 35-24. I got the Lions at 12-3.
Love it, Speaks. Love it. That's going to be a hell of a matchup there versus the Steelers. On to the biggest game of the season, I believe. This Week 17 matchup is no joke. We're going into Minnesota to play the Minnesota Vikings. I believe that both these teams are going to be very even. Like, standing-wise right now, I think we might be tied heading into Week 17 here. Or maybe we might have a one-game lead or whatever the case, but it's really tight.
Do you think this is going to be who we're competing with for the NFC North this year?
Yep, I'm thinking it's Minnesota, and I think this is going to be a very tight matchup here. I got the Lions actually losing this one, Speaks. I think we're going to end up losing 30-24 in a slugfest. Minnesota's going to come out ready to play. I think they tie up the standings at this point, and I believe that they are going to have the tie with us heading
Before
into
you toss me the ball, does JJ have a big game getting on the W?
JJ, the other JJ as well. Justin Jefferson has a big game. That becomes problematic. I think their defense comes up with enough stops.
All right.
I think that's where we run into the problem. They get, the late touchdown or whatever may be at that point. But I'm taking Minnesota this one.
Justin Jefferson is no joke, and now he has a new QB at his arsenal. But, like I said before, MCDC is 6-2 in the regular season against the Minnesota Vikings. He will be 8-2 after we sweep them again this year. And this game, he'll be a little closer, but I still think we come out on top. We forced JJ into too many mistakes. Again, as a young, promising rookie, I think we win this one 18-16 and put us at 13-3 here, BK.
Ooh, I love it. I'm right there, or no, I'm actually at 12-4 at this
Yes.
point. And then we're heading into Chicago for Week 18. I think everything's going to be on the line here. I think the Lions will need a win. I think the Vikings will need a win in order to win the division. This thing is going to be a cold game, Speaks, because we're talking about playing in Chicago late in the season.
Show the feet.
Goff always kind of struggles a little bit in the cold, which concerns me a little bit here, but I think Caleb Williams will as well. I think this thing is pretty low scoring, but I think the Lions do enough in the running attack to get a 24-17 win and leaving them at 13-4 to end the season. And this is where I think we end up winning the division, because the Detroit Lions are going to sweep the Bears and they're going to sweep the Packers and win one against the Vikings. And I don't think the Vikings end up sweeping the Bears and the Packers. I think that with the better divisional record, the Lions end up winning the NFC North.
I like it, BK. As I said before, MCDC has a 2-3 record against the Chicago Bears going into this season. But again, if my predictions are right, we will have a 4-3 record. I should say MCDC will have a 4-3 record against them after this season. I think we sweep the Bears again, and Caleb Williams will do what Caleb Williams does and turns the ball over too much. When Jared Goff has those two gloves on in December, he's going to be slinging it to Waymo down the field. We'll get into him a little bit later. So I think we win this one, let's see here, 42-36, putting us at 14-3, BK, and we win the division, and we get another one of those patches on our jerseys.
In the cold.
In the cold, baby.
Shootout in the cold. I'm not so sure about that one, Speaks, but I'm hoping that we can end up getting the W there and end up winning the division like you and I both think we will. But my offensive player of the year here for the Detroit Lions stepping into the season, this is Jahmyr Gibbs. This is Jahmyr Gibbs' year.
No complaints there,
He
baby.
is going to be more involved in the passing attack. They've talked about running him in the slot as the slot receiver this year in the third down situations. I think he ends up with over 1,300 yards rushing and over 500 yards receiving, and those are low numbers. I think he becomes basically Christian McCaffrey this season, the next coming of him, and I think Gibbs is the guy this year.
I totally agree with you on that sentiment, BK. I love everything about Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he goes over 1,000 yards, rushing 1,000 yards, reception yards. They're going to be splitting them out wide. He is learning all the schemes. It's going to be fun to watch Jahmyr in that number 0 this year.
Yeah,
so I'm pumped for that. But my offensive player of the year is Waymo. Get your popcorn ready, ladies and gentlemen. As Brian Branch said, this is going to be the Waymo show. I think Waymo goes big, real big. Top 5 in all wide receiver stats this year, and either 1,300 to 1,400 yards, leading the league in yards per catch, taking that away from A.J. Brown, who Waymo was only second to last year. I also think Waymo is going to have a total of 11 total TDs. That's reception and running TDs. Can you get him going around the corner on those reverses? You watch out. This is going to be fun to watch. Scotty Montgomery loves the deep ball. Watch Agent Uno go off and really take the lead by storm this year, BK. Waymo show.
I love it. Jameson Williams is in for a massive season. I believe that he's going to far exceed his numbers from last season. I think you're on.
He's getting the bag.
Well, and they're talking about using him in different ways too, where they're going to run more intermediate routes,
exactly,
more short routes with him. Last year it was basically run the deep ball and we're going to give it to you in gadget plays. So that's how Ben Johnson kind of used him. It sounds like we're going to go a different route this season, and I think Jameson Williams is really going to take that step forward.
Everything we're hearing is he is a more polished wide receiver all the way around. Scotty Montgomery is using him in multiple schemes. He's not just a 3-scheme guy. He's running multiple routes, and it's going to be fun to watch him with Scotty Montgomery since he loves the deep ball as much as he does.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be lightning in a bottle with
Same.
J-Mo again this year. His speed is just too much for any defense in the league to handle.
I agree.
Defensive player of the year, I mean, I got to go back to him. Speaks. The guy's back from injury. It's going to be Aiden Hutchinson. This guy.
Aiden who?
Aiden Hutchinson.
Woo!
Man, he is back from injury. He's looking better than ever. From what I'm hearing out of camp, he's beaten Penei Sewell in reps. That's not easy to do.
No,
Penei Sewell is the best right tackle in the league. And Aiden Hutchinson's going to come out and he's going to be guns a-blazing. It sounds like in that Miami joint practice, too, Speaks, that they had to put in a Hutch rule because he kept continuing getting to the quarterback and he would just completely destroy the play before it would even get started. I see this happening again this year with him where he comes out to a blazing hot start like he did last year and just continues it throughout. I got him recording 18-plus sacks and competing for the defensive MVP throughout the entire league. I think Hutch is in for a massive season.
That sounds like some gold, platinum, Billie Jean stuff
yeah.
there, baby. I'm ready for it. I love everything about Aiden, but I had to go a different route. I went with safety, Brian Branch. I think in year 2, he gets even more comfortable at his new position, and he has himself one of the best years by a safety that we've seen in quite some time. I think he really goes off. I think he has at least 6 interceptions. I think he leads our team in tackles, and I think he has himself a heck of an Ed Reed safety season this year, BK.
I love it.
That's high praise.
Well, I think Branch, we've been impressed with what we've seen on the field from him since his rookie season. I see him
since the Bama days.
Yeah, since the Bama days. We were talking about it when he was coming out in the draft. And, I think he's just going to be one of those guys that continues to grow, and especially with Kirby Joseph alongside him.
That helps a lot.
It makes it so he has all the flexibility in the world to go where he wants to go.
Yep.
I think Brian Branch also has a mega season this year. Offensive player who takes a step forward, Speaks. I'm going to go with good old Sam Laporta. He's been dealing with the injuries.
Early last year, he got that injury to start the season, kind of slowed him down.
Never really was the same with that injury. He was playing through injuries throughout all last year. It sounds like he's getting a little bit healthier. I think he becomes a massive red zone target for us this season. I got him catching over 9 touchdowns, and I think he's going to be one of those guys that we're going to be looking for when we get to the red zone every single time out. He has the ability to use that big body in order to create some space. He's going to become one of Goff's safety nets once we get to the red zone.
I like it, BK. I am going to go with left guard, Christian Mahogany. The trenches are what has made us as dominant as we've been these past 2 years, and what we need guys to step up with Zeitler and Ragnow no longer with the team. I think Christian Mahogany has a coming out party, solidifies himself as one of the best young guards in all of the NFL. So I went Christian Mahogany. I love the way he's been talking in training camp, the way we practice different, that Miami doesn't practice the way we practice. He just sounds like a veteran, and he's only going to be in his 2nd year. Christian Mahogany, watch out. Zeitler, I know you took the money, went home to go be in Tennessee with your family. I don't blame you for that. But now Christian Mahogany's going to step up for us.
It's his time to shine.
It is.
He is the epitome of what we look for on the offensive line. Very good mean streak. I like that pick a lot. We're going to need him to take a step forward, as well as Tate Ratledge, our rookie, to be a big part of this offensive line.
And his mullet is just rocking right now.
It's awesome.
It is. It's a thing of beauty.
But defensive player who takes a big step forward. My guy this year, Speaks, is Jack Campbell. We've heard out of camp, Alex Anzalone and the contract disputes, how he wants to get paid more money. I think this is Anzalone's last year as a Detroit Lion.
I 100% agree with you.
I think they are passing the reins to Jack Campbell. I think he becomes the anchor of the entire defense and the linebacker core. You got Brian Branch leading the team in tackles. I got Jack Campbell leading the team in tackles.
Be mad if it was
and I think Campbell becomes one of the best linebackers in all of football this season.
Okay.
I think he really, really takes that step forward.
I like that, BK. I love everything about Jack Campbell, and I think he does have a monster year. My defensive player who takes a big step forward, Terrion Arnold, is coming into his 2nd season, more polished, knows just how to be handsy enough, but not too handsy going into year 2. He's also playing with a heavy heart, repping the no 6. He was 0 last year. Gibbs is 0 this year, playing for his really good friend at Alabama who died. I think Terrion Arnold solidifies himself as a very, very good no-2 corner, playing opposite DJ Reed, and it's going to be Arnold Island over there for the Lions, and we'll see what happens. Thank you so much for joining us, you blue Kool-Aid drinkers and you filthy animals. We will be back after week 1, September 7th. I'll let you know how Lambeau is. BK, this was fun to do. We're getting back after it. And yeah, we'll be back with the Detroit Sports Flow after September 7th.
Go Lions.